Welcome into Dragon Ball Super Dope. My name is Kyle. Thank you for checking this out. So, not a ton of Dragon Ball stuff to talk about. Psych, I could probably make a whole Dragon Ball episode based off of just like Spark and Zero and some other stuff going on within the legal rights of the franchise. That seems to be a big story right now for people to be talking about. And I'll probably talk about it at some point, but I don't think it's as big a story as some people do. So, what I want to do instead, I just want to talk about some stuff that I've been watching that, I don't know, I like and I want to talk about. So I'm going to talk about it. I imagine I'm going to break these up into a few short episodes. So that way, if you show up just wanting to watch Cobra Kai, like I'm going to talk about for this one, you just got to listen to the Cobra Kai shit. You don't got to wade through 40 minutes of me talking about The Boys or what the fuck else is the other one? Oh, My Hero Academia. I want to talk about that as well. But I just want to talk about Cobra Kai today. And like I said, it'll probably be a short episode. I just want to say season 6, it's a miracle we got it, to be honest. I mean, the writer's strike really could have ended the show after season 5. And I would have been mostly okay if they had to do that because the kids aged out of it or whatever. Most of the kids still look like they're in high school. They just look like they've grown up a little bit. I'm looking in at you, Anthony LaRusso. It is so weird to see that kid from the first season, to see how tall he is now. But I figured maybe what we'll do is kind of go through some of the bigger plot points, the general plot points of it, and then break it down by character. But I don't know. I'm happy we got it. I just don't like that they're doing this 5-episode, 3-part thing for the release. I understand why they had to do it. I'm pretty sure they're still, putting the finishing touches on the final episodes. So the next 5 episodes are going to release in November, and then 2025 will be the final 5 episodes, but there's no set release date on that right now. And again, a lot of it just had to do with all of the delays from the writer's strike. And again, I'm just happy we got it. There is a number of other universes out there in which we did not get Cobra Kai season 6. So let's just go through a couple of the main plot points, and then I'm going to break it down by character and what I think of each of these characters and how things are maybe subsequently going to work out for them. I don't know. One thing I've really enjoyed about what this show has done, like it's a really good reuse of old IP. If you grew up watching the Karate Kid movies and you hear that Johnny Lawrence and Daniel LaRusso are going to be in a television show, 30 years later or whatever, you're into that idea. And it would have been real easy to make the focus way more about those characters and never really give us the true Karate Kid element of the story, which is, the kids. I feel like the 4 main leads, the 4 main students, Miguel, Robbie, Tori, and Sam, I guess, by association, I feel like they do a really good job with all of those characters and making you give a shit about them. I'm especially invested in Miguel and Tori, their individual stories. I think those characters, those actors playing those characters, amazing fucking job. So I want to go through all the characters as well, but let's see. From my tool, here are the... Jesus Christ, bro. ChatGPT is just doing its thing. Uh-oh. Here are the main plot points for Cobra Kai Season 6. So they're getting ready for the Sekai Taikai tournament. Following the elimination of Cobra Kai from the Valley, the focus shifts to the Sekai Taikai, the World Championships of Karate. The main characters, including senseis and students from Miyagi-Do and Eagle Fang, must decide if and how they will compete on this global stage. So a lot of the 5 episodes revolve around them deciding who's going to go fight for them in the Sekai Taikai, which, by the way, funny fucking word, man. And it's not funny like funny sounding. It's funny how there is little to no consistency in the pronunciation of those words from any of the characters. It's honestly one of the only things that kind of takes me out of it sometimes. It's a cheesy, stupid show, like based on 80s movie kind of feeling vibes or whatever. But yeah, for whatever reason, whenever they say it, I'm just like, ooh, is that how you say it? Yeah? How's Johnny going to say it in 30 seconds? How's Mike Barnes going to say it? Because he says it much differently than all you guys. Point number 2. Johnny and Carmen's baby. Johnny Lawrence and Carmen Diaz prepare for the arrival of their baby, adding a personal and emotional dimension to Johnny's character arc. Yes. And I do like the fact that his 2 boys, for the most part, at the beginning of these 5 episodes, They're getting along really well. They're like nailing the Step Brothers game. They're doing a really good job. And to see them hanging out with their women, and their women are kind of, is it weird that I called them women? To see them hanging out with their girlfriends? Is that, less weird way to say that? Jesus. To see them just like all hanging out as a unit is very cool. For the first time, there's no beef really between the four of them. Obviously, we can't stay in that state for too long or else it gets boring. Gotta fucking mix it up a little bit. But I like the fact that Johnny has seemingly rehabilitated his ability to be a parent to Robbie. Does that make sense? Make sense? Words are hard. But now he's also going to have an opportunity to start from square one with this new baby with Carmen, who, by the way, man, she's sexy as hell. Carmen and Amanda LaRusso, both fun characters when they are utilized, but like, you know, I understand Johnny wanted to utilize her for making a baby. That was a weird sentence too. I'm full of them today. And he kind of manifests like his apprehension a little bit about having a girl. And it kind of manifests onto Devin Lee throughout these first 5 episodes. And it's like his first real student under the Eagle Fang banner. So it's like kind of a sentimental relationship for him. Like after he broke free of Cobra Kai and made his own, identity for himself in terms of karate, this is the first person who came along and fit his ideals and his values in karate and whooped a bunch of ass. So he feels some sentimentality for Devin. Jesus, this is going to go longer than 20 minutes, isn't it? Number 3, Chosen's recovery. Chosen Taguchi recovers from his injuries sustained in the season 5 finale, ready to take on new challenges alongside the other characters. Yeah, I don't think we got enough Chosen in this stretch. They do kind of take him out toward the end. He had to get, I think they said something like 80 stitches across his back after his fight with Chosen at the end of season 5, or his fight with Terry Silver, rather. At the end of season 5. And he's also like kind of beating himself up because he was bombed when that fight happened. And he feels like that's the reason why he lost. So I think he's trying to like avoid the booze, but also, he called Kumiko that night and spilled his heart and he didn't hear back from her. So I don't know. I love Chosen, but he felt kind of he felt like he was licking his wounds, for the first 5 episodes of this. Plot point 4, return of key characters. Most of the main cast returns, including Ralph Macchio. That's what my dad used to call him when he was a kid because he couldn't pronounce his name right. Ralph Macchio, Daniel LaRusso. William Billy motherfucking Zabka, that's Johnny Lawrence. Jolo Maraduena. I don't know. I'm sorry, Jolo. I'm not even sure I'm saying that right. Could be Zolo. Mary Mauser, who's Samantha LaRusso. Tanner Buchanan, Robbie Keane, and others. This season also hints at potential cameos and surprises from the wider Karate Kid universe. And that surprise, Mike fucking Barnes. Again, I mean, it's cool that they brought him around again. Just to get through the rest of these points, because honestly, they ain't giving me shit in most cases. John Kreese's role. John Kreese, played by Martin Gove, continues to be a significant antagonist, though his exact role and plans in the final season remain to be fully revealed. I don't know why I thought this Chat GPT thing would be good. But it's fine. Yeah, he's obviously the main antagonist. So, like, what do you mean continues to be a significant antagonist? Like, who else? All the motherfucking people working with him? Korean niece? Korean master? The Kims? I mean, they're all antagonists, but why are they all there? What did we learn here today? We learned that we're all here because of John Kreese. He's the antagonist. Point 6, Terry Silver's fate. Yeah, we don't see Terry Silver. Should I even read the paragraph? After his defeat and disgrace in season 5, the presence of Terry Silver in season 6 is uncertain. The season may explore whether he makes a comeback or remains sidelined. I kind of hope, as much as I love Terry Silver, I just said this shit the other day, dude. I made Vape and Mike Norm watch a couple of these episodes with me. I didn't make them. We were hanging out and I was like, I'm putting this shit on, dude. I need to get hyped again because I'd already watched it. And I watched the final 2 episodes and I had that same thought throughout. Like, I kind of miss Terry Silver. And then I said to Mike, I'm like, here's my hot take. I think Karate Kid 3 is my favorite Karate Kid movie. And that's wrong. That's just not a right take. That's objectively the worst one of the three. I love all of them, but I just love how cartoonishly evil Terry Silver is in that movie, and how they kind of retconned pieces of his history to make his choices, we'll say, in that movie make a little bit more sense. Basically, he's just coked out of his brain all the time. Like, very, very funny, very cool way to utilize the character. Not to mention, it's always useful to have a supervillain who has like unlimited resources. All that he's just fun. He's kick ass. And what's his name? Thomas Ian Griffin, I believe, is the actor's name. My bad if I just fucked that up. He's like a real karate guy. He's like 6'5". He's like a menace, dude. Like, he is a villain personified. All that being said, he's never been the main guy to me. John Kreese has been. So I kind of hope they continue to keep Terry Silver sidelined. They show him a couple times in some flashbacks in these episodes. And it's cool to like remind the audience that, you know, their origin stories are obviously intertwined. But I hope they kind of don't ever really hear from him again. He deserves to stay in prison for, I don't know, all that shit he did. Prison, Terry Silver. Final showdown. This is point 7 and the final point from our old friend ChatGypt. ChatGypt is kind of a funny name for it, huh? Because like I feel gypped with these fucking responses. Final showdown. The season builds towards an ultimate showdown that promises to be the climax of the series. Why did I even fucking bother reading that? Anyway, they do give me a brief list of the characters included. Here's what I'm going to do. I actually wrote down a list of the characters the other day, and I'm just going to read through them and tell you what I think about those specific characters. Oddly, my list of characters is more, what's the word? Detailed than ChatGypt. So what do I think about Daniel? We'll start with the big boys, and by big boys, I mean the adults. We're going to start with Daniel's story arc first. So Daniel's big beef, and I don't even know if you could really call it a beef at the beginning of the season, but it's the potential rebranding of the dojo when they go to compete in the Sekai Taikai. He thinks everyone is united under the Miyagi-Do, Jesus Christ, dojo banner, and they're all like on the same team. Meanwhile, you know, Johnny's trying to advocate for Eagle Fang and all this stuff. And Chosen is ready to fight for Miyagi-Do's name as well. Kind of causes a little bit of tension in the first, I think it's 2 episodes. So we do get that cool Johnny and Chosen fight as a result. But that's just like the beginning of it. The real thing for Daniel this season, and I actually really like this idea. I've seen some people in this fandom kind of kick back against it because it kind of I don't want to say desecrate, but it kind of does, you know, do a little bit of damage to the image of Nariyoshi Miyagi. Nariyoshi? I think that's I hope that's his first name. Otherwise, I sound like a fool. Basically, Chosen goes to stay at Mr. Miyagi's dojo. They're rearranging some furniture. They find a little latch in the floor. They open it up, and there's a box of hidden shit that Mr. Miyagi never showed to Daniel. There's a boxing glove. There is some like newspaper clippings of a reported crime that happened. And it like opens up all these extra questions for Daniel. There's also the Sekai Taikai headband in there. That's in the last few seconds of the 5th episode. Daniel puts it together that Mr. Miyagi fought in the Sekai Taikai. But basically the newspaper clipping alludes to Mr. Miyagi beating the shit out of a few people and like putting him in the hospital or whatever and fleeing the country for a while. And it's like Mr. Miyagi's younger days, like in the late 30s, early 40s or whatever. I forget. But Daniel feels real betrayed that Mr. Miyagi never shared these stories with him or like this part of his life. Like Mr. Miyagi was co-owner of a boxing gym. Daniel never knew that. He goes down with Johnny to investigate, and it's kind of a shady place, but all they learn from the dude who's like the 3rd generation owner, it's Mr. Miyagi's old business partner's grandson, I believe, owns it now. They just learned that Mr. Miyagi was a really good guy. His grandfather trusted him with all his life and, you know, his business and all this stuff. And, you know, bad choice, hurt some people, ran away, fled the law. And that just goes against everything Daniel knows with what Mr. Miyagi was in terms of like a father figure and a mentor to him. Now, what I like it because it plays really well into Johnny's story. And Johnny's thing kind of ties into identity of like who he is as a karate master, who he is as a person, even. And he just feels like he's constantly playing second fiddle to Daniel. And it kind of starts in what I said before, like the potential rebranding of the dojo. Miyagi Fang, I believe, was his suggestion to like marry the two things together. But he definitely feels like he's a nobody or like a second place kind of guy in terms of, you know, having to give the yes to Daniel just to kind of keep things alive. Like Daniel ends up giving Johnny a job and is his boss. And Johnny is thankfully a good car salesman, albeit a unique one in terms of skills that he utilizes. He's a very charming yet intimidating salesperson. Deadly combination. Those motherfuckers always get the commission checks. Johnny's thing is he doesn't feel like he really has any kind of say in it. And Daniel's pushback against it is like, because Daniel eventually says to him, like, hey, dude, once we're done with this tournament, I'm out of karate. You can take over this thing. I'll be like in the background, still doing my shit at the car dealership. I'll be around, but like you will lead Miyagi-Do. So Daniel kind of has an issue with the idea that Johnny, as fucked up as he is, having these identity crisis of like not feeling represented enough within his dojo or feeling like he's making enough of a difference. He's like real worried that this version of Johnny, I believe he says, would be the face of his family's karate. And I understand, you know, why Daniel might be kind of apprehensive about it. But then Daniel finds the box and he realizes that Mr. Miyagi used to be a little bit of a shitbag too, maybe at some point in his life. And I believe that kind of is the other part of Daniel's struggle. Is he has to like come to terms with that. Somebody could beat the shit out of somebody and flee the country to avoid the authorities and then come back and be Mr. Miyagi. I think it makes him look at Johnny in a potentially different light to be like, I mean, I imagine he'll come to this realization. I don't think he's really had it yet, but I hope that he does. That like people can change for the better. I think that's a line from Wicked or some shit. I've changed for the better. I saw it once when I was in high school. It was like a local off-Broadway production, but it was in New York, so it was like still good. But I was like, I have changed. I don't know how the song goes. For good. And I think Johnny will change for good too, man. I do. But outside of that, I mean, like I talked before, he's going to be having a baby with Carmen. There's a little bit of apprehension about that, but it's basically just projected onto Devin Lee and his protection of her and wanting to see her be his first real successful student. That is under his own dojo brand. Because every time I say that, I'm like, but what about Miguel? Yeah, what about Miguel? He started under Cobra Kai. That's the differentiation between him, you know, projecting onto Miguel as like his first student, first champion or whatever. That was under Cobra Kai principles. Miguel is as good as he is. He is as good as he is because he's worked with all of the senseis. He's worked with Johnny. He's worked with Daniel. He's worked with Kreese. He's worked with everybody. So he's great. But Devin kind of catches the brunt of Johnny's feelings of inadequacy as a sensei. And potentially, you know, maybe some fears as upcoming girl dad. All right. Let's see. Chosen. Talked about Chosen a lot. He's going back to Okinawa. People are kind of confused as to why. Some people think he's going to like try to reconnect with Kumiko. Totally possible. I'm not sure. Some people think that he is going to go look for more Miyagi-Do secrets. Maybe. I don't know. I think a big part of his character, and I talked about this, I think, with like season 4 and season 5 reviews that we did of this show. I think Reese was on both of them with me. What's up, Reese? I don't like the idea of Kumiko and Chosen working out in the end. Because, like, if you watch Karate Kid 2, I mean, as cool as Kumiko is, cool Kumiko is what they call her back in the village. Cool as she is, dude. Chosen almost slit her fucking throat open. Over what? Some white boy fucking visiting and whooped his ass a little bit more than he expected. Caught him with the sucker punch. You know? For her to suddenly just kind of be cool. I mean, again, cool Kumiko, I get it, but I don't think, like, that was probably a very traumatizing moment in her life. So then for the guy who did it to be like, I'm sorry I did that, I loved you so much, she'd be like, all right, well, weird way to show it. You kind of ruined the opportunity for me to ever love you back, you fucking psycho. I hate the idea of the two of them being together. I do like the idea of it being like a unrequited kind of motivating love for Chosen's character. I don't really know which way they're going to go with it yet. I'm curious to see. I do feel like Chosen was a little, I don't want to say a disappointment or a letdown. I would have liked to have seen him utilized more. I love when that dude's around. He's one of my favorite Karate Kid characters. Easily one of my favorite Karate Kid characters. Let's talk about Mike Barnes. I don't know if he's going to really be around for the next 10 episodes. I don't know. We'll see. I think the nice little role he had as like the impartial karate judge to help them determine the teams for the Sekai Taikai, I think that was really cool. Also, they did a really nice job of kind of following up on what was kind of established of him last season, in that what happened. You know, he comes back to karate all of a sudden after being away for a long time, kind of has an itch for it. He ends up losing his goddamn business because Terry Silver's a fucking psycho. And then he falls back down into the fucking hole of depression. And he just keeps thinking about karate and what could have been. And then Daniel calls him up again. He's like, hey, what's up? Come over and be a guest sensei or whatever. He's like, hell yeah. What I liked about this season is that they actually got to see him fight. What I heard was that when they were filming season 5, I believe his name is Sean Kanan, the actor who plays Mike Barnes. He'd had some kind of injury or illness. I can't remember which, but basically some kind of physical ailment that would not allow him to really do all that much fighting, like real fighting, because that dude can fucking fight a bit too. It wouldn't be safe for him to have done so. So like they just knock him out in season 5. They're like, oh, Mike Barnes is here. Let's see him fucking knock some people out. And like they just put him to sleep real quick. At least in this series or this series of episodes, we get that really cool Mike Barnes and Johnny fight. And then after Johnny kicks him through a fucking table, Mike Barnes is like, hey, my bad. I'm sorry I've been such a prick. I missed karate. And now I just want to fight people. And I thought maybe if I could, get into a fight, I'd feel better about myself. And you just kicked me through my table at my furniture shop. I need that table to make furniture. And I'm fuck with on my furniture table. Fuck. Oh, last adult. Kreese. Whatever, dude. I mean, we need a villain. I try not to think into like the plot of Cobra Kai all that much. If you do, you're going to be sad. But I don't know. He escaped prison real easy. He got to Korea real easy. He came back to America to like check in on Tori real easy. I don't know. It's fine. He's a fucking villain, cartoon character villain. And he does have that cool episode where he does the thing. He tries to like find Master Kim. I believe it's Master Kim. Soon Dai Kim. Kim Soon. Not going to try to do it. I can barely say Japanese things. Never mind Korean things. I can't say things in English most of the time. You get what I'm saying. When he goes into that cave with the snake to get the knife thing, cool. That was cool. I think they do a good job balancing story allocation. Like you get these main characters, like the adults. That's why I started with the adults, because they're kind of the driving force behind most of this stuff in terms of the plot. I feel like they all get pretty good screen time. Daniel, Johnny, and Kreese specifically. Chosen and Mike Barnes play their roles. But yeah, I hope we get some more Chosen. I don't know that we'll get more Mike Barnes. It'd be cool if they brought him as like a guest sensei for the fucking tournament, but it doesn't look like he's there at the end of the 5 episodes. Let's talk about the kids real quick. I meant to do this for 20 minutes. I'm at 26 minutes. What a mess. Let's start with Miguel. Again, I'm doing this all from memory, so I might miss some plot points, but let's start with Miguel. He's getting ready to go to Stanford. He applies. He gets deferred. What is that, a no? It's not a no. It means a not yet. We'll look at your application again in the spring. So him going to the Sekai Taikai and wanting that captain spot, because, I mean, obviously the 4 kids hanging out and being cool, we're going to break it up by the end of these 5 episodes, and they're all going to fucking fight each other, and it's going to be a goddamn mess, because we can't have nice things. Miguel thinks his opportunity to get into Stanford lies in mainly being the captain of the Sekai Taikai and potentially being crowned the champion if he wins. That's like a definite you're into Stanford. So he's going against Robbie in that captain fight. And Robbie is of the opposite sort of path. He's not thinking about Stanford. He's not thinking about college. He's just like, what the fuck am I going to do? And he thinks this could be a good opportunity to kind of propel himself into a life of karate as a, profession, as a job. If they win, Miyagi-Do wins, I think they're envisioning multiple schools and some of their students will go off and teach the schools. And I think Robbie could be one of those original students who goes on to carry on his own karate school for Miyagi-Do. So the two of them recently made cool stepbrothers. Now they're back at odds again. And I gotta say, I can't tell you which one I think overreacted more. Like, if I was Robbie, I'd be like, yeah, man, I get it. I get it, Miguel. You want to win because Stanford, it's actually a really good idea, man. I wouldn't have thought to use that as my application letter for Stanford. I went to this crazy worldwide karate tournament. Maybe that's why I'm not in college. And then Miguel would be like, see, you get it, Robbie. But also, I can kind of see from the perspective of Robbie where Miguel would be like, I need this. And Robbie would be like, I need it too. I don't have shit. I don't know where my mom is. Johnny Lawrence is my dad. And he wasn't even really my dad until a couple of seasons ago after he was already your dad. Second place. I do like that montage for Robbie, the second place montage, when he's like doing his visualization and his training and shit. He's got his eyes closed. And like it just flashes to everything that he's ever come in second place for, losing to Miguel, losing a Hawk. I mean, realistically, losing to Miguel in terms of friendship and fathership and a parental relationship. That's the term I'm looking for. With Johnny, second place. I think a lot of people related to that. I feel like a lot of people have that kind of mentality sometimes, but Robbie is a great example of it. A few more. Tori, man, let me tell you, it's not just because Peyton List is absolutely gorgeous. It's not just that. She, as the character of Tori, who started off as such a fucking psycho, like ready to cut people, literally like stabbed Samantha LaRusso, and like that short temper that looks like it's always just about to like come out. She always looks like she's just about to get really pissed and that she's already on the ascent. She's already kind of pissed, but she's about to be even more pissed. She got that look down so well. So much of Tori's arc has just been about coming to peace with herself, and her episode in this five episode set, I watched it twice, dude. It broke my fucking heart each time. I cried less the second time. The first time I watched it, dude, it was like fucking waterworks. It opens up the whole episode and everything's going so well for her. She's like good with Robbie. She's in a nice relationship. Her mom, who's been really sick, she's like checking in with her mom's doctor. Oh, your mom's doing so much better. We're going to start messing with the medications, tapering her off of them. And we'll see, how things continue to progress, but she's doing really good. She's like, yeah, man, she's doing great. She cooked me dinner the other day. And my little brother. And it's like, fuck yeah, dude. Thankfully, I watched this show long enough to see this girl become like happy and, about as normal as she's ever going to be. Fuck yeah. And then they just take it all away, dude. Not only that, but like as she leaves that doctor's appointment, Kreese like tracks her down in the parking lot. And he's like, what's up, my champion? And she's like, bitch, I'm nobody's champion. And if I'm going to be a champion, it's going to be with Miyagi-Do. Get the fuck out of my face, old man. Go back to Korea. And then she gets home and her fucking mom's dead. And she's in like literal fucking shock for like 2 days or something before she communicates with anybody. And she doesn't even communicate with anybody. She just shows up for the fight with Sam LaRusso to determine who's going to be the captain. And then Daniel stops the fight because I guess Amanda LaRusso somehow listed as some sort of emergency contact within Tori's family's database because of, Amanda and Tori being closer in earlier seasons. Not closer, but like Amanda helped that girl get on the right track. They call Amanda, Daniel stops the fight, and then Tori ends up with Cobra Kai at the Sekai Taikai. A lot of people think that last scene for the Sekai Taikai is a dream. I've seen that floating around in this fandom. It's like somebody having a dream of what the opening thing is going to be because there's like no audience. There's no cameras or anything. I don't think. I forget exactly what they say, but I thought it was real. I don't know. I don't fucking know. What do I know? So Tori walking up and being like the Anakin Skywalker to John Kreese's Sheev Palpatine and like taking his side at the sideline. I don't know. I feel like she's truly fallen to the dark side. They could have done that sort of turn with Robbie very easily, I think, as well. But thankfully, I think Peyton List is a way more talented actor than Tanner Buchanan. No shade, but curious to see what happens with her. Who else do we have? Fucking Samantha LaRusso would be next. Yeah, Samantha LaRusso. Real quick on Samantha, I feel like of the four, I think they reference them as the power couples. Of the four people in the power couples, she is the least engaging to me in terms of a character. It's Daniel's daughter. She's good. The only things that are interesting to me about Sam and her character is how she plays off of the other characters, and mostly it's Tori. Like, Sam LaRusso needs a fucking foil like Tori in order to get any kind of mileage in this story. Was that a rhyme? Every time. I don't have much to say about Sam. No hate to Mary Mauser. Hawk and Dimitri, I'm just going to do those two together. The whole MIT thing, Binary Bros, Dimitri, beating Hawk in the thing to go, even though we all know Hawk would beat the shit out of Dimitri, and Dimitri's not a fraud or anything, but he's certainly not one of the best 6 fighters for the Miyagi-Do. I like that Hawk's, it sucks that he took so long to like communicate this to Dimitri, but I do like the exchange that they have when they do finally talk about it. For the most part, like Hawk's like, I didn't do it. I'm sorry. I think there might be better options out there for me. It doesn't necessarily mean college. It could be something else. It's a big world. And Dimitri's like, yeah, well, you're never going to get into MIT if you didn't already apply. So, and Hawk's just like trying to keep his cool. And he's like, I don't appreciate how condescending you're being. It's like, imagine a high schooler saying that shit to one of his friends he's in a fight with. If I was in a fight with one of my friends, we were fucking whooping ass in karate school all fucking day, and my friend said some disparaging shit like that, I'd just be like, listen, bitch, I karate kick him, front kick him, right in his gut. And then I'd say, you're lucky that I didn't kick you in the balls. So yeah, whatever. Hawk Dimitri, they'll make up. I wonder if, because Hawk gets named to the final 6, right? After Tori pieces out. So I do wonder if there's an opportunity for Dimitri to, I don't know, he has to redeem himself somehow for like all the rude shit that he said to Hawk. So I don't know. They'll make up, I imagine. Last person I'm interested in terms of the kids. I guess there's Kenny as well. But Devin and Kenny kind of are interconnected because Kenny's one of the better fighters as well. They do this flag thing. Devin fucking Lee, after all of this like re-encouragement from Johnny in the earlier episodes, I guess she just wasn't feeling herself either because Mike Barnes really wasn't seeing her in any of the competitions. Like, and by not seeing her, I mean like he was a little overly critical. I do kind of wonder if Mike Barnes was being low-key racist. He's like, look at this Korean. I think she's Korean. I might be wrong on that. Look at this Asian girl. And look how good she is, or not good she is at karate. I thought she'd be good at karate. That's racist, Mike Barnes. Anyway, it kind of does suck that Johnny put all that investment into her, trying to feel better about herself and do her best performance to impress Barnes and make the team, and that she ultimately got them to redo the thing for her, and she just fucking cheated by spiking Kenny's water with some laxatives. Not cool, dude. Not cool. One time, when I was like 14, somebody at lunch in high school had some chocolate laxatives. And I'd never really known what a laxative was. I'm 14. The fuck am I know what a laxative is? And they're like, hey, Kyle, I dare you. I'll give you $5. I'll give you $5 because I do all sorts of shit for money. It's not a gayer that I meant it to sound, but you know what I mean. I do all sorts of shit for money. They'd be like, I'll give you $5 if you take this laxative and go put it in somebody's drink. So I didn't put it in somebody's drink. What I did was took a soda that was already on our lunch table, like half drinking. Nobody knew who it was. I was like, whatever. I'm taking this soda. And I dropped it in there. And what I did was I walked by another person's lunch table, like, halfway across the room. And I just walked by and casually put the soda on top of a table. Cause like who was I going to target? You know what I mean? Like I wasn't trying to be like that, but I was like, if some asshole goes and drinks, this was literally my reasoning for it. If some asshole just picks up a soda, they don't know who the fuck it belongs to, and they just drink it on somebody, fuck them. You get a laxative. A laxative. And this girl, I shouldn't say her name, but I will say her name. Her name is Sam. She did exactly what I just outlined to you. She thought it was her friend's soda. And she's like, had a moment where she's like, fuck you, bitch. And went to drink her soda just to like piss her off. And she chugged the whole thing, including the chocolate laxative. And everyone at my table just blew up. Like we watched this happen in like slow motion. We were just like, oh, it was like 12 of us just flipping out, laughing, watching this happen from across the lunchroom. And then somebody from our table, I think they went over and told like one of her friends or something, because the message did get back to her. Like, hey, that soda you just chugged, that had a laxative in it. And the girl was so confused. She's like, I don't know what that means. What does that mean? And everyone thought it was hilarious. And she didn't know what it meant. So anyway, she went to the nurse and asked the nurse what laxatives were. And the nurse laughed at her. It was just like, you might want to stick around here for the rest of the afternoon. And she did. And she shit in the nurse's office all afternoon. Now, how do I know that story? I accidentally ended up dating that girl for like 6 months, like 10 years later. Anyway, hope she's well. Do I have anyone else I want to talk about? Oh, yeah. Anthony LaRusso, he's a bitch. He's annoying. I really wish they didn't fucking shoehorn him in. Like, on Happy Days, this is a modern reference. You know how on Happy Days there was Richie and Joni Cunningham? First, like 6 episodes, it might even be like most of the first season. They got a third Cunningham kid. His name is Chuck. One day, Chuck just dribbled his basketball right out the front door on his way to school and literally never came the fuck back. If they had given Anthony LaRusso the Chuck Cunningham treatment, I'd be cool with that. There is not one redeeming quality that I find within his character. Not one. I can't stand that kid. Which is kind of appropriate because, maybe he's got that Daniel LaRusso energy from when he was a kid. Even though current day Daniel LaRusso is kind of a little prick too. I was watching it with Mike the other day, like I said, and he's like, could these two dudes, meaning Daniel and Johnny, could they have like any less chemistry together? And I was like, well, I mean, they hate each other. They've been mortal enemies for like 40 years, but they have to work together for the good of karate and the students. So it's awkward, Imagine you had to work with some asshole you used to beat the shit out of 40 years ago. All of a sudden, your fucking karate destinies are intertwined. Like, it's going to be awkward when you have some fucking shop talk to do, especially when you disagree fundamentally on so many things. That's pretty much all the characters I wanted to hit. I apologize if I missed any of your favorite characters. Second half expectations. And I say second half because I thought it was only supposed to be 10 episodes. But again, apparently it's going to be 15 and released in sets of 5. So like 2.5 hours worth of Cobra Kai content released over 3 stretches. That's like a 3-part trilogy finale in my brain, especially if you binge them all. Although it is structured like a television show and blah, 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 whatever. What else we got? I think that's it. Second half expectations are they're going to fight and they'll fucking fight some more. And then one of the kids will be like, I can't do this. And then Daniel will be like, yes, you can. And then they'll do it. Or they won't do it. And then Johnny will be like, you can do it. Who cares if you put laxatives in Kenny's water? You could do it, Devin Lee. And then she won't do it. That's what'll happen. She'll pay the price for that. I'm just like trying to figure out how everyone kind of comes out on the other side of their arcs. Because for the kids, at least. Because like Miguel, is he going to go to Stanford? Is he going to win the Sekai Taikai? I feel like he might. I feel like he's got to. against that fucking kid from the Cobra Kai Korea camp. Cobra Kai Korea camp. Oh yeah, they spell Cobra Kai with a C. My bad. That kid, I can't think of his name right now, but he's the kid with the really cool hair who Kreese like turned into the new leader of that school or like new head student. That kid's a badass. I imagine it'll be him and Miguel in the end. Got to remember where you came from. This show started with Johnny and Miguel, and it'll end, I believe, with Johnny and Miguel. I don't really know what the middle's gonna hold for us though. Hopefully Chosen's back. Or was he at the end of that thing? Was that a dream sequence? I don't know. I feel like I've gone on much too long. But I really did enjoy these first 5 episodes. Can't wait to see where things go. Next 5 episodes release in November. And then again, no confirmed release date for the third set of these 5 episodes to finish it off. But they say sometime in 2025. Yeah. Can't wait for the Karate Kid movie with Ralph Macchio and Jackie Chan that doesn't acknowledge any of this shit. Sony is so fucking good at cannibalizing its own IPs for the sake of like playing nice with their movie department and playing nice with their television department. Or is that what the problem is? Netflix owns the television rights for that IP, and then Sony owns the movie. Sony could just like throw some fucking bucks over to Netflix and be like, this all happens after Cobra Kai. Daniel steps away from Miyagi-Do, lets Johnny run it. He goes off and he meets fucking Jackie Chan, whoever the fuck. Like, why ignore that continuity? Especially after how successful this show has been. It's not like it ran for 10 episodes and nobody watched it and it sucked. You know what I mean? Like, I'm very fucking confused by that choice. And last, I just, because I've been, looking at so much Cobra Kai shit in the last couple weeks since these episodes came out, I just want to say something. Especially in like fan groups or fan pages. People's unintentional racism shows all the time. And by that, I mean, it's crazy to me that people don't understand that Korean people and Japanese people are not the same nationality. Or, and this is what made me think of it, the Jackie Chan thing. I cannot count how many motherfuckers have been like, oh, it must be Mr. Miyagi's son or his brother or something. Even though they don't have the same names or reference each other at all. And Mr. Miyagi's from fucking Okinawa and Jackie Chan's from motherfucking China. I saw some dumb motherfucker the other day say, my prediction for the end of the season is that it will eventually be revealed that the character of Kumiko, who has gone on record as saying she has never had children, also from Japan, Okinawa, it will be revealed that she is Devin Lee's mom. Devin Lee's mom, who died from cancer. Because they talked about that earlier in the series. Devin's mom died from cancer. Also, Devin's not Japanese. So keep that fan theory shit to yourself. Or like, make it more about what you think the plot is going to be and how that plays out. And not like some big secret mystery reveal that Martin Cove is fucking Tori's, what's his name? John Kreese is killed Tori's grandmother or some shit. Like, a lot of people just think that these big crazy twists for the sake of a big crazy twist is going to happen. And like, that so has not been this show at all. Have you guys watched the show? Jesus H. Christ. Stop it. Fucking stop it. Okay, that's all I wanted to say. And I hope everyone enjoyed it. And I don't know if I said spoilers up front, but I'm saying spoilers in the back. If I just spoiled this whole show for you, good. Go watch it from season 1. You'll become enamored and you'll totally forget about the spoilers by the time you get to season 6. And you'll be like, shit, I'm glad Kyle spoiled this for me. That was really fucking thoughtful of him. All right? Okay. Well, I'm going to talk about some more TV in the next episode. So, rate and subscribe. Dragon Ball Super Dope is a Dragon Ball podcast. And eventually we're going to be doing a Dragon Ball episode about just the general state of shit and getting ready for Dragon Ball Daima. Very excited. October cannot get here fast enough. In the meantime, though, please subscribe, and we'll see you for the next episode of Super Dope. I don't know how I'm going to end this. Do I have a Karate Kid thing that I did? I think I did a Karate Kid thing one time. I think I did You're the Best Around. So maybe you're hearing that right now. Fight till you drop. Never stop. Can't give up until you reach the top. Fight. You're the best in town. Fight. Listen to that sound. A little bit of all you got could never bring you down. You're the best around. Nothing's gonna ever keep you down. You're the best around. Nothing's gonna ever keep you down. You're the best around. Nothing's gonna ever keep you down. You're the best around. Nothing's gonna ever keep you down. Yeah. Super dope.